y'all. Thanks for tuning in again. If you're new here, consider subscribing or share with a friend. This is a really good episode of number 2 for Run the World. I'll admit I'm grateful that they covered Renee, the married individual. She's the only one married in the group, and they're having problems. And of course, the problems surround money. They don't have kids, but I'd like for anyone to highlight just because you're in a 2 income household doesn't mean you're like drama free around money and that things are going well in the marriage. So here's the deal. I feel like it doesn't get discussed enough, so I'm excited, right? But 2 incomes does not mean disposable income. Trust me, if you sit through enough divorces and mediations, you'll really start to see like, oh, that's why we're having these problems. That's why we need to discuss this more. But not everybody's privy to it. And this is where my background will be infused in this episode. Not that I get excited with family law or divorces by any means. I get excited about the conversations that need to take place that we're not actually having. And so if you bring it to the forefront, which I've noticed through media, then eventually more people start to accept it in their personal lives and discuss it openly in a way it wasn't always covered. So let me get this in before I try and head to the gym. It's a leg day and I'm already late. I'm going to be around everyone with cooties who does not like to wear a mask. Like the very first early morning crew, mask. And I double mask. You don't have to agree with me. Just know this much. I have folks in my life, including myself, that I'd like to keep safe. So, the ladies are walking in the rain. Ella, I believe, and Soledad, I forget her name, Soledad. And just out the blue, a homeless looking guy on a bicycle with recyclables or selling cans yells out, "Niggers!" And they start laughing. Y'all, I've had instances. I feel like this is some Midwest stuff. Like, what? I thought this only happened in Wisconsin. I've never had the homeless be so bold in my entire life. And that is in New Orleans, in Charlotte. Lord help us. And I know Chicago homeless is a little bit different. Lord knows they really are. They will throw poop at you if they have to. But in the Midwest, I was in what is the high-rise building for the Capitol, because we have limitations on how tall the building can go. So a mid-rise anywhere else, 15 stories. At any rate, our lobby has double doors like most places, so you have to enter in before you can buzz in to actually enter in the building, and it's heated. One morning, I go out as usual, down through the building, get in the truck, through the garage, pull around to come pick up my newspaper before I go to the gym. And this was like 4:30 in the morning because I had to open the gym at this point. Yeah, I was working a part-time job at a gym in order to get the membership for free so I could actually use it. I really didn't use it, but I maintained my weight. I never gained a pound. I was like, Jesus. Anywho, this old homeless man that I had seen around downtown enough times, because you live downtown, that's all you know, the homeless. And we actually are really, I want to say nice, but civil in another way. Like, we would look out for the one black homeless man until he passed away. Like, it was heartbreaking, even when he passed away. Not that we knew him like family, but we knew him enough that we gave him food, gave him money, gave him different things. The kid knew of him, of going out to school, and it was just hard. Anyway, back to the old Caucasian homeless man in my lobby at 4 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning with his boots off and whatever else. Yes, it was a snowy morning. I jump out the truck, not even wearing a coat, because again, I came through my place, down through the garage. It's all heated. Get out of my truck to run in, get my paper. Excuse me, do you live here? What? You know, people steal papers. I called the cops on his I had to. I was so indignant and disgusted. I took a photo. I posted it on Facebook. People tried to play me like, oh, it wasn't racist or it wasn't racial. Let me tell you what it damn sure is. It's a socioeconomic screening that he didn't have the right to do. Bitch, you homeless. You living in my lobby for all of 40 minutes, probably a few hours, because who's up at that time of day, drying off your socks and staying warm, when your butt could go to the shelter, you can go to the warming station. Yeah, in Wisconsin, they have warming stations. They have many opportunities and social services available to them that they could openly utilize. Because I can tell you who don't have it, Louisiana. I don't care how hot it gets or how cold it gets. There's not a building that I know of except Salvation Army that goes out and try and help the homeless. At home, if you're homeless, you're just homeless. That's just it. Like, oh well, you need to get warm. Figure out a blanket somewhere. Go live under the bridge. Nobody cares. So back to, they laughed it off and was like, I don't have it today. I think this is a time where I would have related more to Renee. Because he's homeless, maybe I wouldn't have chased after him and said something or pushed his bike over. I don't know. But I do know this much. It depends on who it comes from. I don't feed into it, especially when it's younger people or a certain group and you could just tell they want a response. Fuck you. Yes, this is YouTube and I'm cursing. But guess what? There's a lot of cursing going on in this episode. Just the N-word is worse than a curse word to me at this point. It depends on, the way it's delivered. So I'm giving it to y'all straight. I loved every bit of this authentic episode. It was just like, I can't believe this is happening somewhere else. This is even happened to me when, again, I have lived in multiple places. But I promise y'all, more stuff has happened to us in Wisconsin. Me specific, and I can give you never-ending examples. But not just in work. Being in the courthouse with a client who has a meth addiction, and I'm perceived as the meth addict who's there, and she was talked to as if she was the attorney multiple times. That's not one occasion. It bothers me more, though, when it's our people who walks over and talks to the client instead of talking to me. And even she was caught off guard, like, what? You need to ask my lawyer. I don't know. And the brother just looked like he's never seen a black attorney before. Like, and I want to say the N-word so hard because this is when I will deliver it. Dude, you can see the difference between the two of us. Don't play. But anyway, number 3. Real quick, shout out to the writers for the authenticity of this episode in this moment. Sorry if I've spent 7 minutes already giving background, but I had to infuse that story. I just have never seen some things outside of Wisconsin. Grateful for the experiences. So here it is. Whitney, who's cheating with the dirty dick of the community, yeah, let's call it like that, has a whole doctor, y'all. He ain't just Nigerian. I forgot this guy's name, but he's the cute actor who reminds me of your boy David from Insecure and from The Purge, but he's taller. So anywho, has a whole 6-pack, has a whole residency. He has his degrees clearly, and she's now having cold feet or doubt. Yo, ladies, FYI, I know men can tear a woman down. Lord knows I can. And I have witnessed enough divorces, separations, mediations, child custody battles, and can give limitless examples. But look, if you got cold feet, just leave. Don't go tearing up somebody's poor little ego, feelings, everything possible. Because you are now having doubt and feel like you've been in this relationship too long, or you've lost, your childhood or whole years because you were wrapped up in him. It's okay to acknowledge, yeah, this may not be the fit for me now, even though I wanted it all this time. But don't tear somebody else down in the process of you finding more out about yourself. Just leave. It's the same thing we would ask a brother. Look, don't play with me. And it's okay to be honest and be like, look, when I went into this is what I anticipated, this is what I wanted, and now I just want something different. Because guess what? Mary Renee dealing with it. She signed on with the private equity manager of a husband. Y'all, that's real money. Let's not play about low 6 figures. Even in one of the smallest, cheapest boutique firms, you're easily making over $300,000. Look, I don't know how far $300,000 can take you in New York, but I know for me, it's an aim. I literally want to be comfortable at $368 million. So I'm putting him at the thousands, and I know I'm lowballing. I'm sure he makes more. Again, see, this is where divorces, marriages, separations, prenups, it privies you to people's income and things you see, and you start to manage in your mind like, oh, I am being lowball. Oh, I could do better. And so you go for there. Anywho, I'm also perplexed. Whitney works in a bank. Yeah, a bank or a banking facility is what they say at a bank. Her coworker said a banker and a doctor. Where y'all going on vacation? Bora Bora. They're going to the Maldives. And he was like, oh, it's so cliche, but it's boss moves. At any rate, your girl shows up with the assistant and the guy, and they're talking about, like, basically she's going to be quitting the position. And you can see the boys' wheels are spinning. He's trying to make moves on her position, and I'm sure her book of business. That's how it's coming off to me. But I could be wrong. Let's see how this unfolds. But he says, and I quote, I'm humps and pumps. Yeah, he's gonna hump and pump you, and you're gonna be barefoot and pregnant. Whoa. Look here, y'all. I'm all for let's have great banter in the office, but I know for a fact, working with these banks, that's a whole HR conversation, and somebody would be marched out. Like, I got training in multiple times because it's you have to recertify. You can tell a joke, and if everybody likes the joke, no problem. If one person does not like the joke, you are gonna be the problem. Y'all, I say, look here. Law firms are a little different, even the smallest, rinky dinkiest firm, and especially how inequitable it is. Not just being a woman to the male female ratio is very small, but when you fold in black woman, like I had a on site personal masseuse slash sexual provocateur at work, and he was totally inappropriate. I was so grateful when one day, when I tell y'all, and this, he was older, Caucasian guy, at least 70s, I don't know, maybe even 80. Oh my God, he's too old. But I had on a Brett Favre jersey back when Brett Favre was not as problematic as he is now, so that's giving away. And he was shocked. What do you know about this? Apparently, he grew up in Wisconsin and in Iowa. I don't know. But he would always come over and massage my shoulders to ask a question, talk about, well, how's the weather, things like that. And it's like, what? I was so grateful when one day I was sitting in the lobby area, upstairs, our lobby, with colleagues, and he walked up. And he actually called me out by name and wanted to have a whole conversation. But he eased behind me as usual and started massaging my shoulders as he's talking to me about the Midwest. This was in Charlotte, y'all. And I tell people all the time, see, y'all thought I was joking. You thought I was exaggerating. You thought I was taking it too far. Girl, at that moment, people were like, Joyce, you got to report him. They even said something, and again, this is a hierarchy system. I mean, think about addressing the partners or addressing your biggest boss, the CEO, whatever. No, he was not the CEO. But people with tenure, they do things like a tenured professor. Like, I ain't going nowhere, it don't matter. And it wasn't like he ever grinded against me or anything, but it was just too much. It was just like, oh my Lord, please let this old man retire this year or find somebody else. I don't even know. But if you fold in the racial component, which I actually did during their process, yeah, I would have reported him in a heartbeat. I mean, I totally understood where Ella was coming from when she finally went to have sex with the bartender. So let's get to that. As a group of friends, Renee sends out emotional terror alert. They all get together at the bar, and she reorders everybody mimosas for a harder drink. I don't drink, so I don't know drinks like that. I just know from the intonation of the bartender, oh, it's a hard day, huh? Early morning, and he acknowledges it. Your girl, the bald head, is Ella. No, is it Ella? Okay, anyway, Ella. Questions, where are you from? I like the accent. They're all like, look, Renee, focus on me. You're not gonna fuck him anyway. He's not black. And that's when it became a known fact. She's never had sex with a white man. And they asked. She was like, y'all have? I was like, what kind of friends are y'all if you don't know this? Or haven't dated one, but okay, maybe they don't have that conversation. Cool. So everyone acknowledges they have. Soledad even explains, and I'm saying her name wrong again, but the doctoral student, they're fleshier. That's the best way I can describe it. You know what? I couldn't argue that. I was like, yeah, actually wow, that's pretty on point. Who wrote this script this week? Because this is on point too many times. From the homeless man yelling nigger to their response to Renee having financial issues with her husband, and it shows up through a sex scene, which ultimately she's trying to put it down. She goes to spin around, do reverse cowgirl. She kicks him. Something as benign as that, which tells you there's stuff bubbling under the surface, explodes. And that's when we learn she's over him being a financial leech or supporting his dreams. He feels like you've never supported my dreams unless it benefits you. That's a deadly area to get into. It really is, no matter how long you've been married. 6 days or 60 years. That's a dangerous area. But yeah, it's hard to acknowledge, like she said, you're supposed to be my Barack to the Michelle. And here it is, as a private equity manager, you're no longer that. You're a manager to a musical group. And then we learn as she's discussing it in the bar, yeah, she kept pushing the conversation back. I'm not joking, y'all. I'm not jumping around because I'm bored or my mind can't function. Renee was serious with, it's about me. Even when Whitney called with problems about her wedding, she hung up on her. I was like, oh, look here. Lord knows I love my friends, but I don't know how I would handle being hung up on. And I think I'm the one who's labeled, I'm a fast hanger up, but I don't say bye and I don't say love you. So that's why. It's like, all right, I'll talk to you later. Click. But I'm ending things. This was Renee hung up in Whitney's face. She didn't want to talk. She said, Blair, look, I don't care about your wedding right now. Click. And that was it. I'm getting a divorce. Click. She hung up twice, y'all. She gave her the opportunity to hang up in her face twice. So let's stick with, she's financially supporting him. She's over it. She wants the Michelle to the Barack is what she thinks she's been providing. He has a different purview of it. But he said he's made an investment. And that clicks for her to question, wait, how much of an investment? Y'all can think this is TV. It's not. Never forget or go check out Married to Medicine. When Dr. Simone had Cecil, when Cecil invested that $25,000 in Kids Force, even though she went out and bought that Maserati. And did she buy a Maserati? Because I'm like, I can afford a Maserati. At any rate, that $25,000 was a real point of contention for Dr. Simone, and he wasn't actively working. He was looking to be downsized at his job, and he's in IT. But Kids Force, for whatever reason, was determined by several different people. This wasn't going to go far. It was basically the Uber or Lyft of, it's TaskRabbit. If you don't know TaskRabbit, check it out. My sorority sister is the CEO now, but she was the COO for the longest. But you hire somebody to come out and do day labor jobs. But this will be specifically for kids. And Simone bit the bullet. She promoted that Kids Force through Married to Medicine. But you could tell that was a real issue for her. And Dr. Heavenly called it out. Oh, she just mad because Cecil ain't working. Y'all, I'm going to go back to the old soul food movie of the 90s. Look, when the brothers was in the bathroom talking, he was like, I don't want to tell Bird I ain't got no job. Yeah, because you can't you can't go, 3 days with a black woman without a job? I never felt that way, and I never saw that amongst my parents. But I have a niece, baby. She can put down the hammer. I don't even think you got 72 hours with my niece and not having a job, but she is real clear. I think she'll put up with cheating before she'll put up without having a job. But that's one thing my niece don't play with. And all I can tell people is, well, if you saw her father, my brother didn't play that. My brother walked 17 miles one way to go to work. My brother would ride a bicycle, a kid's bike, 1 hour one direction to go to work. My brother was a welder as an asthmatic, and it was killing him, and he still kept going to work. Until finally, he just had to stop because his wife, my sister-in-law, wasn't having it anymore. It's like you're literally in the hospital more times than you're at work. You have to stop. At any rate, back to the show. Ella, Renee feeling some kind of way about being a poor married couple and her husband making an investment without talking to her. At first, they did show she was a little more amped up than she needed to be or could be. And I was like, oh, yeah, you are a little extra. But that investment piece, okay, now it settles. And you're starting to be like, okay. So when you're seeing someone this amped up and irate or extra about some things, there's usually some backstory that you're not privy to. Hence, again, where divorces, prenups, marriages, all of this comes out. Lord, lawyers need to be psychologists as well, or at least have the therapist on hand. But at the end of the day, this matters because I agree with her. She didn't sign up for this. She don't want this. But it's only been 5 years, and I'm like, are we not having the proper conversations? And y'all do know things change in a couple. You may not have signed up for it, and it doesn't have to be okay with you, but can you be okay with it? Can you readjust? Because then it becomes a conversation of, hey, let's map this out. And I'm really shocked when he said, well, it was our money just yesterday. And like she pointed out, well, that was some of my money in that investment. He took the whole mutual portfolio fund and put it into the band. I don't know. I just don't see somebody who left private equity. But she later explained it because I was like, how can you be this broke where it matters as much? He was in private equity. He should still have some side investments going and other hustles. But they're in a condo they really couldn't afford, so they overbought. And it's like, okay, it's starting to come together. Even without children, and they're paying off on his student debt, her debt. I'm sure MBA from Wharton, and I'm assuming an undergrad from Stanford are not the cheapest numbers. Yeah. So, and interest does compound that. So to wrap it up, Whitney has real issues going on at work where there's a client they're looking to secure for an IPO who apparently favors her over everybody else. And she has a family event with her fiance to meet with his people, have dinner. And for whatever reason, it's on a Saturday and everybody's in the office and she's actually going to take it. I was perplexed. So let me just read this. Whitney's at the work dinner and literally has a community ping saved in her phone. Why? I have no idea. And he calls her. Then he starts texting when she didn't answer, like, are you ghosting me? While the client seems hetero-flexible, yeah, this was early on, and flirting hard with her, I'm shocked she didn't just take him with her to her wedding dinner or whatever the family meeting was. He likes her. He wants an invite to the wedding and he wants to bounce around town. Like, where y'all taking me to next? Let me tell you, my family is all over the board. From the Lord help us. Newly released from Angola to the saved and sanctified to we party. And that's all we do. And guess what? You like me, or you ain't gotta like me. But if I feel this is something more casual, look, would you mind? Let's move over here. Or we're gonna go and meet my family. Or we're gonna have a barbecue today and I figure you'd enjoy it. What I do know, of course, my people who look like me can either say yes or no, but they usually thrive for it. But those who are the farthest removed from my culture, my skin tone, my permanent tan, that's my polite way of saying non-black people, have thrived. Do you hear me? They will beat me to the car or beat me to the spot if I send them the address. Do you hear me? And even the biggest wallflower, like the Estonian, y'all, when I tell you, think blonde hair, blue eye, Rocky Balboa when he fought the Russian, but he really wasn't Dolph. Yo, that they still get enamored and enjoy themselves. I can only tell you, I'm baffled and confused why she just didn't take that man with her to her wedding event. He was asking for an invitation anyway. He's gonna have a good time. Them aunties or whomever else, I don't know where they were gonna go, but honey, that was a day he would have had some fufu, some iguisi, some okra, and had a good time dancing and kikiing and laughing and whatever else that popped up. The end. So I don't know. I felt like that was a reach. And you that far along in your career or not, just make it happen. You gotta fold this stuff in. I felt her doctor fiance was also being a little tiffy. Like she said, I'm not kicking it. I'm at work. And he should know, given his work schedule, some things do happen. I got a call today on a Sunday from one of my direct reports. Shocked me. I was on my way out the door to go to the gym and she was crying. I was like, oh my word, am I a counselor now? No disrespect to her situation by no means. But I don't like when people cry because then it's going to make me cry and then it becomes something else. And I'm really serious about not crying at work. At any rate, of course, I was humane to her, and I was most definitely human, which was, look, if you can't make this deadline, that's the least concern. You have to focus on family. Do feel comfortable if you want to maintain the case and you need to work it through for yourself, because I get it, y'all. It's hard to turn your work over to somebody else, and you'd be like, what did you do? All you have to do is wrap this up. I did all the legwork. But she was like, no. I was like, cool. As long as you let me know, it could be the due date, meaning day zero and it has to get to the feds. I know about it. I'm going to clean it up for her and get it out the door. But if you can't manage this, it's okay. We can get someone else assigned to the case and I'll still review it and make sure it's up to snuff. That's it. But my point is, apparently we're there at this life. Going to the story, and I'm sorry I'm all over the place. We learned that Brett, the client who was with Whitney, is gay, and he left his husband and the twins to have a night away. I don't know why she planned. I really don't know why she planned. Once he made that super known, I would have went on. But she went to go look for the girl who's at work. She came up missing. Apparently she's high on something, and I get that. You don't leave somebody behind who's too drunk or too high to function. You get them all home, but by then, her fiance texted and said, don't worry, just go home. Ooh, I couldn't have got that text. I would have worried until I passed out somewhere in the corner. We cut to Renee is wrapping it up with Sola and Ella in the bar. And she's like, girl, can you just take her home? He's like, why? She wants to get a chance to shoot her shot at the bartender. And she does. Now we learn as she pops out and she's overly offended. He has a motorbike with a little helmet. Looks like he delivers for DoorDash on the weekends or when he's not in the bar, and that's cool. But I was like, girl, why you that shocked? He has an accent. You got to worry about his work status and what you just assume he's going to have money like that. I mean, I don't know no poor bartenders, even in the hole in the walls in backwoods Illinois. I mean, Joliet, Naperville. I don't care what nobody tell y'all. I've seen them come home with money. Like, you made that little boy. But anywho, he's charming. She goes home with him. They go for sex, and of course, oh, while doggy, he's like, take this cock. Yeah, that's the cultural thing. I was perplexed, and I'm glad she came back to discuss it with her girls. But I was floored when she left mid-stroke because he kept saying cock. Honey, if it's good, that's when you stop him. Don't say that word. Please, ever. Let me tell you what you say. You say dick. Hell, you can eat. Look, that's like nut and cum. It's some things that it literally is cultural. And talking to her girlfriend, she learned. Is this your first time hearing this word? And then she's like, I don't. Renee said, they say it all the time in porn. Yeah, white porn. Well, that's what we watch. All three are like, yeah, duh. What are you watching? She's like, I watch black porn. And I'm with Whitney. And watching black porn, or watching porn, period, you got to worry about, like, are these women being abused? Are these women making, disparities in pay? Because it's been proven in the industry, the industry, and this is why now, like, amateur porn is catching on a little bit better because it's individuals who are consenting and not under duress. So they also make it a humorous point, which I don't want to see brothers fucking all day with socks on. It's like, why does everybody make fun of that? There's always a black man in porn with socks on. And why is that still a thing in 2021? But hey, whatever. I thought it was hilarious that we're now having real conversations. I know someone's like, damn, this review is long as this show. Is the episode here? Look, y'all, I enjoyed it, and clearly I can talk, and I have a lot of parallel events that have occurred in my life that, hey, this is pretty true to form. And not just from, practicing, managing family law matters, but criminal. Wait till you hear me talk about that stuff. But anywho, at this point, I think how she ran off, hey, kudos to her. If it can be done, I'm impressed. I've just never seen it. But we end the episode with Whitney saying out loud, she's not sure she should be getting married. So I guess we'll explore more of that next week. I felt like, are you kidding me? Really? And we can know Soledad has pink eye because she got farted on during anal play. Yay! So thank you for tuning in. I hope you like it. Any feedback is great. I'm new here. I'm not begging for subscribers. I'm not trying to get monetized like that. I guess maybe at some point I will. But I trust it'll come. So I hope you like it.